Hello, everyone. Uh, I hope you are doing well. Um, Today I will do I will cover some um, brief points. Like I don't think I will take much time, but they are very important because they include changes or some tweaking of the schedule and also reminders about important deadlines. So. Um, Please pay attention and make sure to watch the video to the end. And I hope that it does not become a long video. I'm not planning to do that. Um, so um, First, I want to thank you for your wishes, and um, some of you sent me emails. Um, and also, I want to apologize for the delay that I had for this week, and also not just for the recording this video, but for some of the tasks. Like, for example, I have not read your discussion posts from last week about genres. I want to read those and I want to engage with those, especially like they included an article that I wrote, so I should be curious to read what you wrote. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to. And also, um, as some of you also reminded me, like the discussion post for week 5 was not there, and the submission link for um, the first draft also was not there. So I have done that. I'm not sure if it's on the screen or not, but it's 1 a.m. now and I am still working. And to be honest, I feel a lot of energy in my body today. So I'm very happy for that. This is why like I'm taking the opportunity to work on this. Um, So let's get to it. So I don't take long with this video. I want to make it brief so you can watch it easily. Um, yeah, let me take you to Moodle first. So in Moodle, I have added week 5, the cultural historical activity theory, and I made it due by the end of this week. This is an important article. I wrote that, and I will take you to the schedule um, now to all because I wrote that note in the comment section. I also added project 2 first draft for peer review. I added it here, and in the assignments section, I added um, 2 assignments, the final draft, and I added the uptake document. Let me now take you to the schedule because the schedule will explain those in more detail. So this is a syllabus. I will scroll down to get to the tentative schedule. And here I am. So um, there is a change that I made to the schedule. First, the first draft was supposed to be due on the 27th, like this Friday that's coming after maybe 2 days because I already started the 25th. Um, so I this was supposed to happen if I was giving you feedback on time on uh your proposal and also on the discussion post. And we had this video earlier, but since I am recording this video like 2 days before you submit your first draft, I don't think you should submit to the first draft on that time. So I pushed it until um, um, I pushed it until Monday, September the 30th. Okay. Um, so the things that we will want to do for this week is to read one article, The Cultural Historical Activity Theory by Dr. Joyce Walker. Um, she called it Because Shit is Complicated. And then complete the discussion post and reply on your takeaways from the article. I made it one article for this week for a purpose or a reason, because this theory will continue with us until the end of the class. It's one of the fundamental um, concepts that we want to introduce in this class. And I wrote a note here. This article is introducing a complex theory, so please do not disregard it due to it seeming complicated, but rather take the time to see its components and its significance. Dr. Joyce Walker is making a lot of effort in her article to articulate her argument, so please engage with this argument in your discussion posts and provide details. I just thought it's important to mention this. Um, and also, maybe I also mentioned this because I noticed in one other class that I'm teaching that students, just as soon as they felt that the theory is complicated, which is articulated in the title of the article, they kind of abandoned it, and their discussion posts were just touching base with maybe some of the concepts with the complete disregard to the argument that the author was making. So I hope you do not fall in this trap and you do the necessary reading that will get you a deeper perspective on the article and on the theory. And I'm going to talk about the theory at the end of the video. I'm just going through the deadlines first and the changes. So also this week, you will submit a genre analysis and chat analysis document. So last time we discussed the concept of genre, and this week we are discussing the concept of chat or the cultural historical activity theory. And this is all in that second phase of Project 2 when we are discussing what writing does in the world. We are trying to approach writing not from the concept of me, a teacher, giving you some instructions to follow, but because, you know, research has proved that this is not how writing happens in the world. And this is why many of the students of writing um, feel kind of disassociation between writing in the classroom and writing outside. And what we are trying to do in this course is to see actually how writing happens in the world. So the concept of genre, if you remember from our or my video last time and the articles that we read, um, introduces us to genres as responses to situations. Um, every uh, piece of writing that we interact with in the world, it has been there as a response to a situation, or actually maybe a group of situations. And as I mentioned in the article that I wrote, think about the stop sign as the simplest uh, kind of writing that we interact with, and how many situations that can call for the existence of the stop signs. And also another definition that we worked on was genres as a text that makes an activity possible or impossible. So, um, from this perspective, we are trying to approach writing as a functioning element in the world. So after you have read the article and after you have completed the discussion post, you will submit a genre analysis and chat analysis document. You will submit a genre analysis and chat analysis document, yes. And probably I forgot to even add this to the assignment tab. I should add it. So yeah, I will add it here. It's actually before the final infographic. Um, and I have, give me a second. I just want to, uh, hmm, now I'm not sure what you can see. Let me say stop sharing, and then I'll share again. And it's just like in Zoom, the elements or the toolbar is up there, so it prevents me sometimes from seeing the navigation of the tabs. Um, but yeah. So for this assignment, this was also a slight change that I made to the plan. It was supposed, or at least I wrote it at the beginning of the course as a video, but then I felt like the video might not be the best tool for making this assignment. So I turned it into a document and I made a kind of a framework for you to use. So um, I made it here. I attached this. So when you click here, it will take you to a worksheet, and you need to download this worksheet and fill it in, and then submit it. And I have added um, instructions and helpful tips. I hope they can be helpful to you. I'm not gonna read all this because I don't want to spend the video on repeating things that you can read by yourself. But please go over them. Um, I think they will help you a lot. Um, what else? Yeah, another thing that I want to say is that for week 6, the upcoming week, because this is the final week of the project. So, and we will be doing peer review. And this is the only week when peer reviews, when there is a peer review, uh, we cannot have just a one deadline like we have on each Friday, because we need to make the peer review and like for example, make the documents ready, the first draft ready, and then we need to have someone give you feedback on it. And then we need to have you some time to read the feedback that you have received, work on it, and then submit the document. So for this week, there are different deadlines. You can definitely do them at your pace, since you have them a little bit like 10 days early now. Not 10 days, 10 days for the maybe the third one, because today is the 25th. So as I mentioned, I moved the first draft from September the 27th to be September the 30th. So this will be the first draft, and the first draft will be submitted to the discussion forum, not to the assignment tab. The reason for me decided to do this is that I want you to do the peer review of the first draft, and I want your work to be visible to others. Okay, so I wrote here, submit the first draft of your infographic for peer review due Monday the 30th, September the 30th. And on Wednesday, October the 2nd, this is the last day. I mean, by this day and time, I mean midnight. All those deadlines are by midnight. Um, you need to have given peer review. I wrote here to two of your peers. No, to one of your peers according to the pairings that I have made here. So I already paired the class. So you just find your name and the name of the person next to you, and you need to find their work on the forum because they will have submitted it by Monday, September the 30th. If your peer has not submitted their work now, you need to email me. or email them. If they have not responded, email me, like whatever route you want to take. So if you click here, because I made it in a comment, I have, as you can see, I have paired everyone, like Sadie with uh, Alicia, if I'm saying it right, Kendra with Olaf, Chloe with Tobias, James with Brianni, Drew with Zena, uh, McKenna with Faith, and the last three, because the class is not even number. I made them kind of a triangle, Sina, Peyton, and Charisma. And I wrote, so Sina will be doing peer review or giving feedback to Peyton. Peyton will be giving to Charisma, and Charisma giving to feedback to Sina. Um, what else? And then the third deadline is final infographic. This is a Friday, and the uptake document is on Sunday, October the 6th. Um, so I try to pace them out so you can uh, see the sequence of things and have sufficient time for making them happen. What else? And also because some of them have like consequences on each other. Like we cannot do peer review without having a first draft. And you cannot write uh, or submit a final infographic without getting a peer review from one of your peers. Similarly, you cannot write the uptake document without going through all this process because actually the questions of the uptake document ask you about what you did in those other components. So you need to have completed them first. Um, so this was about the the schedule or any modifications that I have made. I finally want to talk very briefly about the cultural historical activity theory. So, as Dr. Walker mentioned in the very title, because shit is complicated. It is complicated, and it is complicated not because we want to make you struggle, but at least this is what I understand from Dr. Joyce Walker's argument. It is complicated because we are complicated. We are human beings are not numbers, and reducing our activity to numbers is very difficult and reductive, and it makes us sometimes less of humans. Um, when we think about the activity of writing, and what writing can do in the world. Um, and the things that factor into writing. As I showed you, in maybe at the beginning of this course, when we saw a brochure for the Amtrak or the analysis of the infographics that we are working on, or any of the genres that Ahmad Hamdi in his article was talking about, it's very easy to understand that genres are not, or texts are not made by someone just giving another person some instructions to follow. But it takes a lot of thoughtfulness to make texts responding appropriately to complex situations and activity systems. And it takes also a lot of thoughtfulness to think about the people who interact with these texts. So the cultural historical activity theory is a theory that has been developed by or originated by a Russian philosopher. His name is Vygotsky. And in the field of writing studies, they have kind of adapted it because so Vygotsky made the what we call the activity theory. And since we believe that writing is a human activity, we do not know other creatures who write, um, or at least, I mean, make any kind of communication as, uh, I would say, sophisticated as human beings, especially when it comes to writing. You know, like if we think about language and using language, and on social media, we see fascinating surprises of with animals communicating in different ways. Um, but when it comes to writing, that's so far it's a uniquely human activity. And in the cultural historical activity theory is trying to give us a framework of understanding how this human activity is affected by uh, culture and history. It has been developing historically and culturally. And it invites us to think about a text through not through the three dimensions of the rhetorical triangle, like the audience, the purpose, and the author. No, it invites us also to think about other dimensions. Like, for example, thinking about the the one of the dimensions called reception. And in reception, it makes an emphasis on how do you want the reader to react. Okay, not just about awareness of the reader, but how do you want them to react? What do you want to give them access to, or deny access from? Another dimension that's also interesting is the idea of distribution. What are the tools of distribution for the genre? Also, the production. What are the tools of production? Um, well, if you think about, and I think I have it here. I have one of my uh, students produced this poster that was in Braille. It was a decision made by her to make it in Braille to give access to visually impaired people and to learn this process. So for her, okay, it was a decision, but what, like thinking about the tools of production, for example, and not just the tools, the practices of production, she didn't know anything, like how to write in Braille. What are there softwares that will help her um, make those translations? Will they be accurate? And even after she had done those translations, where to find a printer that can do that, you know, and how much can that be? And are there resources that can do this for her for free or not? I think we found one at the Office of Accessibility um, at ISU here. She was a student at Illinois State University. Um, so thinking about all those elements that go into um, the production from the care that would get you to think about giving access to visually impaired people to the final thing of printing something in Braille. This was motivated for her by chat, inviting her to think about all those elements of production and distribution. Um, another example that I can mention is ecology, for example, and how the cultural historical activity theories in inviting the writer to think about what factors, ecological or physical factors, can hinder or make an obstacle in the communication of the genre. We were having a discussion in class. We were thinking about what happens when there is a, a hurricane. Um, how does the government or the local officials um, communicate. Did I say hurricane? My apologies. I meant to say a tornado. How do officials communicate tornadoes to people? Think about it for a second. How? Um, First thing that comes up, or at least came up to my students' minds, was the text messages. They send text messages. Sometimes the phone as if it freezes, and a message fills up the screen that take shelter. Is this enough for the officials from their point of view? I don't think so. Because if we think ecologically, in such cases, even cell phone network can go off. Also, if we think about TV, because sometimes TV and like news can be used, uh, power outage can happen in the time of a tornado. So there are other genres that are being used to make this message or to get this message across, like the sirens, that we hear. Um, Sometimes we hear them even when they are trying them every month, I think, here at ISU or in Normal, I mean, Bloomington. So thinking about those elements um, from distribution, production to distribution to reception to the ecological components, the cultural historical activity theory is trying to get you to see writing or a text, not just a bunch of words on paper, but as a functioning element in the world, in a context. It does something in the world and it gets you to think about what does this do and what do I want to do with it? Okay. This is definitely a very brief um, introduction to chat. However, I think I cannot speak of chat as much as Dr. Walker, who is the author of the article. So I will look forward to seeing your takeaways from the article in your discussion posts. And I will also look forward to seeing your application of chat in the chat analysis document. And as I said, I wrote a lot of um, helping notes to help you get that done. That's it from me. And I will look forward to seeing your work. And I will catch up with anything, especially the discussion posts that were made last week about genres. I need to get to attend to those um, maybe tomorrow, John. Have a great day.